watching a very special show, because we've taken over.
If you think you've seen every iconic Spice Girls TV moment, think again. Because today, we're counting down the 10 greatest Spice Girls television appearances of the 1990s, and some of these are far deeper, funnier, and more revealing than you remember.
The only one that played fair was Posh Spice.
No, that's favoritism.
The only one.
We're talking chaotic live TV, never scripted interviews, Christmas specials that handed them the keys, and the exact moments when Spice Mania exploded beyond music and completely took over British television.
We've never dedicated a whole show to one band before.
From awkward warehouse interviews and full-blown variety show madness, to historic broadcasts that quite literally launched a TV channel. Along the way, you'll see the Spice Girls off guard, backstage, and totally unfiltered.
We've got a more mature sound there as well. Yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
Discussing things no pop group was supposed to talk about on BBC One, dragging comedians into performances, revisiting forgotten auditions, and proving why 90s TV just hit different. There are world-exclusive memorabilia connections, magazine covers from the exact week these shows aired, and moments that changed everything, including the performance that made me fall in love with the Spice Girls for life, and a costume from one of these shows that somehow ended up in my collection years later.
She's out here and she's perky. It's a miracle.
This isn't just a countdown. It's a time capsule of peak 90s pop culture, girl power at full volume, and the television moments that defined a generation. Kicking off at number 10, we have a brilliantly funny and refreshingly candid appearance on the iconic 90s celebrity interview show Ruby Wax Meets. First broadcast on BBC One on Sunday, March 15, 1998. This episode of Ruby Wax's hit series was filmed a month earlier in February, inside a warehouse on the outskirts of Dublin, while the Spice Girls were deep into rehearsals for their upcoming world tour. Thanks to Ruby Wax's unmistakable charm, sharp wit, and disarming humor, she quickly earned the trust of the band, creating a relaxed atmosphere that allowed the girls to open up in a way fans hadn't seen before.
So you said, are you going to ask me out?
Yeah, and he came down to London and he took me out.
The conversation went everywhere, covering everything from menstrual cycles to smuggling, with the kind of honesty and humor that only Ruby could draw out.
Is it
Growler.
moody? Is it moody?
No, I get moody. See, I am
She's having a period and she's still...
Oh, you see, I whisper things and she goes, and she's having a period, you know.
It's a miracle. She's still having a period and she's out here and she's perky. It's a miracle.
The program offered fans an unprecedented behind-the-scenes look at life inside Spice World, revealing what it was really like when the biggest band in music since the Beatles weren't on stage. Hanging out with their mums in decidedly unglamorous surroundings, far removed from the pop spectacle. The episode builds to a memorable finale with a performance of the group's then current single Stop, made even more iconic by the hilarious inclusion of Ruby Wax herself, fully embracing her role in the chaos.
Now featuring Ruby Wax is now going to do her big performance. Girl power at its finest. Here we go.
Hello, Champagne.
Coinciding with the broadcast, the 14th March edition of TV Times magazine featured the Spice Girls and Ruby Wax together on the cover. Inside, journalist Nikki Murfitt penned a glowing review of the show, including flattering quotes from Ruby herself. While clearly impressed by the girls' down-to-earth nature, Ruby jokingly concluded that she was far too old to become the sixth member of the band. Dubbed Mouthy Spice for the occasion, Ruby Wax delivered one of the most relaxed, revealing, and genuinely entertaining interviews the Spice Girls ever gave, captured at a pivotal moment when they were learning how to manage themselves as a group and take a full-scale live concert production on the road. Coming in at number 9 is a truly special program from one of Britain's most iconic cultural institutions, Top of the Pops.
You're watching BBC One. You're watching a very special show, because we've taken over. You're watching the Spice Girls on Unforgettable.
For decades, Top of the Pops was the #1 music television show in the UK, broadcasting weekly on BBC One and defining pop culture for generations, before sadly coming to an end. Alongside its regular weekly episodes, the show occasionally produced one-off specials, including the much-loved Spice Girls Christmas 1997 special, which saw the group look back at their extraordinary run of performances on the program. The special revisited a series of landmark appearances, including the Spice Girls' very first Top of the Pops studio performance of Wannabe, filmed shortly after the group returned to the UK from Japan.
It was on that stage over there, and then I wore my Liverpool kit, Liverpool top, and it was excellent.
This Top of the Pops magazine poster captures the moment perfectly, showing the group photographed backstage on that historic day. At the time of filming this Christmas special, the Spice Girls were only around a year and a half into their public career, yet in their charming on-camera interviews they reflected on their earlier Top of the Pops performances as if they'd been around for decades.
It's funny because we was all like, oh my god, it's Top of the Pops. So yeah, it's like, you know, we always used to say I feel like a properly famous person now.
It's a testament to just how intense their schedule had been, how much they had packed into such a short space of time, and how quickly they had grown up in the public eye. As each single is revisited through montages of performances, it becomes clear just how dramatically both their music and image had evolved. By Christmas 1997, the Spice Girls were truly on top of the world. They had a new album, a feature film, and global fame at its absolute peak. High street shops were overflowing with official Spice Girls merchandise, while major brands from Chupa Chups to Cadbury were launching Spice-themed product lines. Dolls, cameras, t-shirts, books. This was the height of Spice Mania, and Christmas television that year fully reflected the scale of the phenomenon. This Top of the Pops special was just one of several Spice Girls TV events broadcast across the festive period.
Hopefully, if possible, I never want to do anything else. I can't do anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is it now. Now I've had me little time on Top of the Pops and, you know, me few little #1s and stuff. It's like, if it stops, then I don't know what I'm going to do.
By this point, the group's first 6 singles had all reached #1, as had both of their albums. Having dominated the charts for much of the previous 18 months, reminiscing about their Top of the Pops performances as if they belonged to a distant past felt oddly appropriate at the time, though it now seems strikingly premature in hindsight. Alongside the interviews, the group also performed several of their hits once again. Filmed especially for this Christmas special, notably, Spice Up Your Life had never been performed in the Top of the Pops studio before, as the group had been in Delhi in October 1997. When the single reached #1 in the UK. The February issue of Top of the Pops magazine featured the Spice Girls photographed during the show on the cover, with a playful test your knowledge style quiz inside. Ultimately, this program stands as a fantastic compilation of Top of the Pops performances, capturing what is arguably the Spice Girls' most iconic era. Hearing them talk about their future with such optimism is genuinely heartwarming. And let's be honest, everyone needs a bit of that at Christmas, don't they? Landing at #8 is a full-blown Spice Girls special of TFI Friday, one of the most iconic, chaotic, and unmistakably 90s moments of their entire TV career. In April 1998, the Spice Girls were back home in Britain for the UK leg of their Spice World Tour. By early May, the group wrapped up the tour dates in Birmingham, but they also found time to make a live television appearance on TFI Friday, an episode dedicated entirely to the Spice Girls.
I'm quite nervous tonight, to be honest, to have the Spice Girls, and we've never dedicated a whole show to one band before. You know, we wouldn't have them on 2 years ago. Now we've given them the whole show. 3 songs, the whole damn thing. Because that's how wrong we were, girls. That's how wrong we were.
Remarkably, this marked the only time in the show's history that TFI Friday was devoted to a single act. That alone was impressive, but it felt even more significant given host Chris Evans' well-documented initial dismissal of the group when he first encountered them a couple of years earlier. By 1998, however, Evans had become a fully fledged Spice fan, and his show provided the perfect platform for the group to promote On Top of the World, the official England World Cup single. The track was a collaboration with Echo and the Bunnymen, Ocean Color Scene, and Space, placing the Spice Girls firmly within the era's Britpop-dominated landscape. Rather than leaning into obvious chart choices, the group kept things deliberately rock-leaning, performing Step to Me and a cover of Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves. Notably, neither their most recent single Stop nor their upcoming release Viva Forever were performed, reinforcing the sense that this appearance was about credibility, confidence, and evolution rather than straightforward promotion. Fresh from the road, the Spice Girls sounded fantastic, singing live and looking relaxed, happy, and completely at ease. Their styling was unassuming yet effortlessly cool, marking a clear departure from their more overtly stylized 1997 image. This shift reflected the group's natural maturity and was also captured in an official Spice Girls poster included with issue 6 of their official magazine, photographed during the same month. Between performances, the show was punctuated with individual interviews, during which Chris Evans managed to coax Emma into singing her solo from the tour, persuaded Mel B to jump on the drums, and even had the group watch footage of their original auditions from the earlier incarnation of the band that existed before they became the Spice Girls.
This is a historical day, because now that the Spice Girls, they're known throughout the world, they sold 18 million albums, and this is the day Victoria got the job. Unbelievable.
The result was television at its most fun, chaotic, confident, and unapologetically spicy. A perfect snapshot of the group at a moment of transition and self-assurance. It was loud, unpredictable, and so very, very 90s. And honestly, they just don't make TV like this anymore.
Pathetic.
The 2026 Dr. Spice Collection calendar is here. Perfect to spice up your wall in 2026. This calendar features 12 colorful displays of Spice Girls memorabilia, all celebrating 30 years since the group's launch. Displays showing records, posters, and promotional items are accompanied by historical information, the perfect tribute to their 30-year anniversary. As well as the calendar, a gorgeous diary is also available, which includes a week-to-view layout with spicy anniversaries throughout, all inside the 1996 display cover design. Spice up your 2026 with the Dr. Spice Collection goodies. The calendar and diary are available now from lulu.com/shop. Just search the Dr. Spice Collection, or click the link below this video or in bio. Easy. The Spice Girls weren't just on TV in the 90s. On the 30th of March 1997, they were the TV. That day marked the launch of Channel 5, the UK's fifth terrestrial television channel. And it didn't just debut quietly. It launched with an exclusive Spice Girls video, instantly turning the channel's first broadcast into a full-blown pop culture moment. The video was a specially made music promo for a track titled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, created as part of the Spice Girls campaign to promote the channel's arrival. It wasn't a standard release, and it wasn't just about music. This was the group's first major historical moment outside the music industry, and the timing couldn't have been better. 5 girls, the biggest pop group on the planet, aligning with Channel 5, a brand new mainstream UK channel. The symbolism was obvious. This collaboration was perfect. The song itself was a shortened reworking of Manfred Mann's hit 5 4 3 2 1, with new lyrics spelling out exactly what Channel 5 promised to bring to British television. And the promotion didn't stop there. The Sun newspaper included a Spice Girls poster on 25th March, and on the 29th, the day before the launch, it featured the group alongside Channel 5 presenter Jack Doherty on the cover of its TV Guide magazine, ensuring the launch was impossible to ignore. Colorful, musical, energetic, completely spiced up. The Spice Girls didn't just help launch Channel 5, they turned it into a cultural event, grabbing national attention and proving once again that in the late 90s, when the Spice Girls showed up, everything became bigger.
My favourite Top of the Pops that we ever done was last year's Christmas Top of the Pops, because we were presenting it as well, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was nerve-wracking because I've never done presenting before, but I really enjoyed it more than anything.
At 6, we're heading back to Top of the Pops, and this time, it's the Christmas 1996 edition. An episode that didn't just feature the Spice Girls, it handed them the keys.
Next up, we've got March's biggest seller. It was a huge club hit, and yes, I know his name is Robert Miles, but I call him Bob Kilometer. I'll have your children.
For the festive special, the Spice Girls took on the role of hosts, guiding the nation through the music of 1996, month by month, and introducing each act with bucket loads of personality. It wasn't scripted stiffness. It was chaotic, confident, and completely them.
Santa does not exist, but he does because I've sat on his knee and I've played with his beard.
And he does, because he said to me and Mel that we were gorgeous, because we're nominals! Baby bird, you're gorgeous!
Of course, by the end of that year, the Spice Girls weren't just hosts. They were one of the biggest acts of 1996 themselves. And naturally, they performed. First Wannabe, the debut that changed everything. Then Say You'll Be There, proving that the success wasn't a fluke.
Now, it's nice to see that somebody's taken Take That's crown and is wearing it properly.
But as with any great Top of the Pops Christmas episode, the show built toward a moment, a finale. With help from fellow presenters Mark Morrison and Robbie Williams, the countdown reached its climax, and the announcement everyone was waiting for. The Spice Girls' third single, Two Become One, was officially crowned Christmas #1, a huge achievement, and the perfect way to close out their first year. And of course, they performed their brand new #1. Top of the Pops was already a television institution, but at Christmas it became something else entirely. And spiced up like this, it was everything. The episode showcased the girls' personalities at full volume, funny, confident, unstoppable. It was the perfect way to spend Christmas Day. The biggest songs of the year, the biggest pop group in the country, and a generous serving of girl power. Right alongside your turkey.
Long live pop and long live the Spice Girls.
At 5, it's Before the Live One, a Spice Girls special documentary that aired ahead of their Sky broadcast concert, Christmas in Spice World, filmed live from London's Earl's Court Arena in December 1999. After spending most of the year focused on solo projects, the group were suddenly back, and everything felt new. New haircuts, new costumes, a brand new stage, and most importantly, new songs.
We were all a little bit like, oh, we haven't seen each other for ages and we're going straight back into rehearsals.
For fans, it was an incredibly exciting moment, and this documentary only amplified that feeling. Each of the girls was interviewed separately before coming together on a sofa to reflect on their careers so far, their current tour, and the new album on the horizon.
We're really excited about the new album. We've worked on a few tracks with the same writers and producers that we did the first and second album, but then we've also done a lot of work with some American producers, Jimmy Jam and Rodney Jerkins. So we've got a more mature sound there as well. Yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
What the program really captured was a band standing on the edge of a new chapter, one that would become the era of their final studio album. There was a clear American influence shaping the new music, and even the choreographer had been brought in from the USA, adding a fresh energy that matched their updated image.
I've got this new choreographer, his name's Darren, he's from New York, and he's very handsome.
So, they got in touch with, my people, and my people called back their people, and next thing you know it, I was on a plane.
We got the phone call from his agent to say, can you come and work with the Spice Girls? And he put the phone down because he thought that they were joking. Well, that's what he said. Sorry, because he thinks they.
We got some staccato stuff that we do in one of the songs called Holla Holla. It's a new hot song. And some of the stuff is just, pop, you know, it's just real staccato, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's different from what people are normally used to seeing. So, you know, they're going to be hitting it hard. That's what they're doing right now, is working on the stage to make the show hot.
Some of the most fascinating moments came backstage. Cameras followed the group as they prepared to go on stage, chatting about socks, calling their mums, and running through choreography decisions.
Oh, sorry, wait, I don't get it. Oh, I don't get it.
Standing there, standing there. It goes dun 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 dun.
Move on the
Small human details that made the scale of the event feel personal. The show leaned fully into the Christmas atmosphere, and as expected, there was an array of tour merchandise on offer. Among it was a pack of 4 Christmas cards, shown here, featuring photographs of the girls taken in November 1999. Christmas in Spice World may have been a relatively simple production, but it was still thrilling, and without doubt, the perfect way for the Spice Girls to close out the millennium. This documentary gave fans a rare chance to see their idols back together, working hard to deliver a great show, and briefly pressing pause on solo careers to reunite as a group.
It will be alright on the night. I'm on my antibiotics now.
It'll be fine. It's getting better and better.
No, do you know what? You can just shut up.
It's almost like the 4 of them together have this Spice World, and they open up and let other people in, then open up and let everyone out again. You know, and it's at the moment we're in Spice World.
Would you put your hands together for the Teen-tastic Sugar Lumps?
After the Spice Girls, but before the Sugar Babes, there was the Sugar Lumps.
Thank you, my school, for teaching me the golden rules. Yow, yow. 'Cause I really love you, baby.
One of the greatest things the Spice Girls ever did was use their chart power to raise money for charity. In 1997, they released Who Do You Think You Are, in aid of comic relief, teaming up with 5 of Britain's top comedians in the process. Led by Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders, the newly formed Sugar Lumps joined the Spice Girls for a comic relief music video and performed alongside them live on the Comic Relief Show on the 14th of March. The tribute band also featured Kathy Burke, Lulu, and Luella Gideon, perfectly mimicking the Spice Girls' looks, moves, and personas, with absolutely hilarious results. By this point, the Spice Girls were truly on top of the world. Who Do You Think You Are became their 4th UK #1 single in a row, while simultaneously helping to raise the profile of comic relief itself. Known as Red Nose Day, the event is celebrated nationwide, in schools, workplaces, and communities, all with the shared goal of raising as much money as possible through fun, laughter, and generosity to support people in need. In 1997, the Red Noses were fluffy, as seen on this poster from February, when the Spice Girls officially launched that year's campaign. The impact was huge. Who Do You Think You Are sold over 670,000 copies and helped Comic Relief raise £27 million that year. Nice one, girls. This moment perfectly sums up the Spice Girls at their best. Fun, generous, and socially aware. They used their success to support a worthy cause, donating all proceeds from the single to charity. Their Comic Relief TV performance was the absolute heart of the campaign, bringing together the country's leading comedians with the country's biggest female pop group. This wasn't just great pop. This was the 90s at its very best. At 3, it's one of the most watched in audience with shows ever. An audience with the Spice Girls was broadcast on the 29th of November, 1997. The very same month, the group released their second album and fired their second manager. A moment of huge change played out on one of British television's biggest stages. The girls made one bold decision. They wanted the audience to be predominantly female. What followed was less a traditional TV recording and more a party, a nightclub atmosphere, a charged room, and a show that was sometimes chaotic, but always fun. Stars of stage, screen, and music turned up for a glittering night with the Spice Girls.
I want to ask you, if you were going to make the ultimate Spice Girl, which bits of which girls would you use?
The group answered questions from the celebrity audience, performed their greatest hits alongside new songs, dressed 5 famous men in Spice Girls outfits, and gave both the audience and the channel a seriously spicy good time.
Moving on swiftly. I think we're going to give you a taster from our new album. This is going to be a forthcoming single. It's called Stop. Okay, so here it is.
Watching it back now is a joy. The show is packed with hit songs, emotional moments, and constant laughter. It's the Spice Girls doing things their way, celebrating music, womanhood, and the very best of the 90s. The build-up to the event was just as iconic. Impressive medal invitations, like this one from my own collection, were sent out to celebrities, giving them a physical keepsake to remember the night. TV Times put the group on the cover of its the 29th of November issue, featuring an interview with the girls and an article by attendee Liz Jarvis, who wrote that the Spice Girls proved they could sing, highlighting the moment they brought out legend Luther Vandross for a duet on Ain't No Stopping Us Now. The Spice World era had officially begun, and this was the show everyone was talking about. Could they really hold it together without their manager? Could they keep a room full of VIPs entertained? Well, they absolutely did.
Well, girls, it looks like we got away with it again.
Yeah, it is. Do you think everyone's gone?
Looks like
I
it.
think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey girls, you have done it again.
Yeah! Let's go,
In at number 2 is the show that made me fall completely in love with the Spice Girls.
We spoke to the girls in an exclusive interview to find out about what's been the best and busiest year of their lives.
The Spice Girls, Year 1. An Ozone special was a dedicated episode of the BBC music program The Ozone, created entirely around the group. 1 year after releasing their debut single, Jamie Thixton interviewed the Spice Girls on location during the filming of their movie Spice World. The interview took place between shoots at London's Ministry of Sound, where a nightclub scene saw the group dancing to a remix of their #1 hit, Who Do You Think You Are?
But when you first met Tay Mel B, did you not think, oh, she's a terrible person?
Yeah, he just told me off. He just told me off. No, I don't think anybody thinks that when they first meet Mel B.
Probably, yeah, but I quite like it.
When I first met Mel B, I thought, what a beautiful girl, you know, and then you get the real, when you meet someone, everyone's on their best behaviour, do you know what I mean? And then you get to know the bad habits, the good bits, you know, the moods, the happy bits, all, and you sort of, you take it all, yeah.
During the interview, the girls spoke candidly about their explosive success, ex-boyfriends who had made money by selling tabloid stories, and their plans for the future.
This month sees the first anniversary of the release of the Spice Girls' debut single, Wannabe. In just 365 days, Jerry, Victoria, Emma, and the 2 Mels, Scary and Sporty, have revitalised interest in the British music industry, with album sales of over 14.5 million and single sales of over 8 million. Now, according to the industry trade magazine Music Week, the girls have made over £15 million, and that's just in album sales alone. That's not including spin-offs like posters, books, magazines, videos, tours, and numerous advertising deals.
Beyond the infectious, sassy, and hilarious personalities on display, and the unmistakable group chemistry, the program also featured an interview with Virgin Records executive Ray Cooper, offering a rare insight into the label's marketing strategy for the Spice Girls. Jamie was even filmed lying in a bed surrounded by Spice Girls memorabilia, an image that, in hindsight, may have had a profound effect on me as a kid who later grew up to become a Spice Girls memorabilia collector. The set itself was packed with iconic items: blow-up Top of the Pops dolls, smash hits magazine covers, tabloid headlines, CDs, and posters, all specially arranged for the show. Jamie wore an official Spice Girls t-shirt and at one point even pretended to be swapping collectible Spice Girls photographs.
I don't want posh. I'll tell you what, my pair of Jerry's for your sporty in LA.
Much of the merchandise featured here is now part of my own collection. It represents that unique moment between the group's first two albums, a time when the world waited impatiently for what would come next. The Spice Girls had already established themselves, the iconic imagery, the massive debut album, and a truly historic first year in the spotlight. And then there's the twist of fate. The costume worn by Melanie C in the movie's nightclub scene, the very one featured here, actually became part of my collection in 2016. Considering this was my favorite Spice Girls TV show and the one that cemented my love for the band back in the summer of 1997, you could say I manifested it. Realizing that connection was a genuinely surreal moment. If you're not familiar with this program, I can't recommend it enough. It's nostalgic, it's cool, and it's unmistakably Spice Girls, and I'll never get tired of watching it.
Spice Girls back Tories, obviously made a huge difference there. Spice Girls in Santa exclusive, ho ho ho. And finally, my particular favourite, Jerry rushed to hospital, but only to remove a fingernail from her ear.
At number 1 is the moment we'd all been waiting for. For early Spice Girls fans, the wait for new material after playing their debut album to death felt like a lifetime. And yet, in reality, their second album arrived just 1 year later. But at the time, the anticipation was intense. On the 27th of September 1997, after a summer of writing, recording, and filming, the Spice Girls were back with a bang. They premiered their brand new single, Spice Up Your Life, live on the National Lottery, hosted by Dale Winton. Bursting with energy, attitude, and glamorous, vibrant costumes, the Spice Girls returned with an absolute banger. Spice Up Your Life was infectious, high-octane, and unapologetically spicy, and the performance matched it beat for beat. I was completely mesmerized. Naturally, I recorded it on VHS and watched it over and over again. The excitement was next level. The biggest takeaway? This new single was just as catchy and brilliant as everything that had come before. Another album packed with bangers was clearly on its way. And it wasn't just about the performance. Victoria even won a game during the show, earning the honor of pressing the lottery draw button.
The only one that played fair was Posh Spice.
No, that's favoritism.
The only one.
It was pure fun, pop spectacle at its finest, and a clear statement that the Spice Girls were back. TV performances can often feel a little bland. This was the complete opposite. This was icon behavior. When released, Spice Up Your Life went straight to number 1, giving the group a new world record. Girl power indeed.
Have a good weekend and a good night. Goodbye now, goodbye.
If you've enjoyed this countdown of 10 great Spice Girls TV appearances, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more spicy deep dives and seriously cool collectibles. Until next time, check out this recommended video and playlist. And above all, stay spicy.